Hello, everybody, and welcome to Somebody's Heroes. We are here today to do the second to last vignette. It's almost over, guys. I'm Eric. I'm the Dungeon Master. Either of you, it doesn't matter.
Oh, hi, I'm Janelle. I am playing the pair of eyeballs from the last vignette. And yeah, you can find me at Boss Jellybean everywhere.
Good news is, it's been about a year or so since that.
Yeah.
So, you know, your eyeballs have become more than just a pair of eyeballs at this point.
Great. Good.
And I'm Gloria. I'm playing Dr. Matilda Cambridge, and you can find me
Love that character.
I'm glowpink, so basically everywhere. And yeah, let's have fun.
Oh, this is gonna be so much fun. Partly because of Matilda's voice, and partly because we are dealing with as you so put it, Janelle, a pair of eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
Some gooey eyeballs.
Oh.
At least it's not the character with the eyeballs coming out the side of their head.
Yeah, that's true. That's my sister, mom. We don't know.
Same thing. Same thing, sister, mother.
Something happened.
You know. So it's been about a year since that accident happened. Maybe 15 months, somewhere in there. And we're gonna start off in that same lab that we left off in. The cage is removed. The table is there still because the table was built in. It was set up for the lab to have as a permanent setup. The emitter is removed as well, and the glass pane is still there, but other than that, it is just a place now that Dr. Cambridge has set up, and Anders, of course, is using to test out this entity who is kind of stuck living here. What kind of a bed-like structure would Dr. Cambridge have put together for this thing, for lack of a better term?
A bed for like a puddle of ooze.
Yes.
Yeah.
So because what I think happened is one night you may have fallen asleep and turned into a puddle, which would have freaked Matilda out. So she created like a rectangular glass box with like little stickers around it, because she doesn't.
God, that's so cute.
Yeah, she doesn't know what you would like, but she hoped that it would make you feel safe and contained where you can sleep at night.
Were these like Lisa Frank stickers, essentially?
Yeah,
the equivalent of like a Lisa Frank sticker?
Go along with the green goo.
Amazing.
So I imagine she would have been like, okay, well, you can go in here and you can sleep, and you'll be protected, and you won't have to worry about anything coming to harm you. I'm going to be here always, okay. And then she would just like leave. So like every night she would just like protect and just like let Janelle's character do her thing, and sleep and become a puddle. So like I think it would have been going back and forward with teaching how to sleep.
I feel like it started as like she was kind of like just a circular blob that would like move into this and then melt. And then over time, every day, she probably started to look more and more like Matilda, like a little version of her, a tiny goo version. So like, goodness. And now so she's just like half her size, but like a goo version of Matilda that like waddles in and then melts into this dish.
Why is it so cute and weird at the same time?
Okay.
And then she puts a blanket over. And then
Soaks
she
up
puts
the
a blanket
goo.
over.
It's fine. This is very serious business, everybody.
Yeah, this is
this
how science.
No
this
one
is
ha-
science.
this is science.
It is. It's about as much science as psychology.
Yes.
Okay, so
Right.
that's what you've been
Yeah.
dealing with every night for the
Yeah.
And Anders has been bringing you in a few pictures to show you what other humanoids look like beyond
Sure.
just Matilda and
Sure.
himself. So instead of a human and a Goliath, you have
Yeah.
other choices of
Okay.
what to look like.
Basic.
Especially as they realize that you are able to manipulate your form, they help show you that kind of a thing and that kind of a pathway. So you have more ability to change to not be a clone of one of the two of them.
I think if I was like given like pictures of like other people, I don't know like if it's like from various media and sources, but I like the idea of like she would like look through everything until she found something that maybe had some of the same Lisa Frank stickers on it, and maybe that's like a pop star or something. like a little like pop idol, and so that's when like she starts to actually like shape into the form that she's gonna eventually use for herself, which is this little goo girl, probably about the same height as Matilda still, but she has like these two big space buns made out of goo and like very round features, massive eyes that are still like the swirling yellow and pink. The rest of her body is like this gooey, gelatinous cube green still. And then yeah, she just like has like a very curvy short body and just like is very like bubbly.
Just so we're aware, how tall is Dr. Cambridge?
Just 5'3".
Yeah, that seems right.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That was the height I had envisioned for Amalgamation as well. Was like,
I think while let's just say that right now, Matilda's tucking in the goo for tonight. Have they had a conversation about names, do you think? Like, I wonder if like we are able to have conversations at this point that aren't just
at this point, it's been about that year and a half, about that year or so marker. So yeah, some speech is there. I would imagine I'm gonna let Janelle decide how much speech, but like my brain has it like maybe like first, second grade.
Okay.
But it's totally up to Janelle. That's just where my brain
fine.
is at. Is
I
that like
think that
young
that
child
tracks.
marker?
okay, then Matilda's definitely reading a bedtime story about powerful women in science.
Just reading. Is it like a kid's book, or is it like Science Digest of like the women who have gotten awards this month? Like,
the leading children's author for science books
amazing.
came out with a book recently, and it's about all of the women. So what's
I will get you the list, Janelle, of the names because they all will be back for the Founders Day Festival that is happening in another year, roughly.
Okay, got it.
And while when she finishes reading the book, and I'm assuming like, okay, you know what? She's finished reading the book, and then she'll say, we've been having some really great breakthroughs lately, and I was thinking, I don't really want to call you Amalgamation. You are your own person, and you might be too young, but I do feel like we should maybe talk about naming yourself. So, have you thought of anything that might be, up to your standards?
So you just like mentioning names cues her to like, she goes to talk, and I think like at this point when she goes to talk, because she's a melted puddle currently as you're reading her a book, there's just like a big bubble appears, and then when the bubble pops, you hear her voice. And you just hear her go, Anders.
Are you sure? You want to be called Anders?
And then there's another bubble that pops, and she goes, Matilda.
Well, there are women in science who do have daughters named after themselves, but we want you to be your own person. If you want to be called Matilda, you can be called Matilda. But maybe we can find something that's more you.
There's another bubble that pops, and she's like, Doctor.
Oh, all right. Okay. We'll come back to it. Okay. Good night, sweetie. She kisses Thews. She kisses Thews good night and then tugs you in.
Okay.
As you tuck her in and you leave the room, you had set for yourself a reminder before your own time to go to bed, Matilda, that you have a meeting first thing in the morning about 9 with that you have to show off your progress so far. They've been generous with your funding. They've been generous with everything you've asked because you had some level of actual success. So they gave you additional funds to continue your progress in your research because some progress has been made. However, tomorrow is the final. Tomorrow morning will determine your final funding status and whether or not this project will receive either Amalgamation number 20 or this project is over.
Okay.
Whether that does not mean you're fired, that just means that you have to then pick a new project and move on from this project, which is they're using the term this project because they do not have a name for it aside from your name that you gave it, which is an amalgamation, which denotes that it is a thing on the science level. So they don't know your progress. They haven't been by. They don't want to interfere with your work, so they have not done so. So they do not know that it has a personality, that it has any of the things that we just experienced.
Okay.
But you have that meeting in the morning, and you go back to crash. Would you have crashed in your office right next door to the lab? You said you would always stay close when you put that bed together.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like Matilda has also made herself like a little nook in the other room, just to make sure nothing that happened a year before happens again.
Sure.
So I think like during late nights, she's going to have a little nook and a nice little bed area that's nice and cozy for herself. But also because she wants to be up early enough to make sure that everything's put in place for this big meeting tomorrow.
Okay. And they are coming to you.
Yeah.
For comfort purposes for the project.
Okay.
Because your goal was sentience. The best way to observe sentience is by observing it in its natural environment, and this has been its natural environment that it has known for its life that they're aware of.
Okay.
They don't know or care about the past of the original cube. They only care about the past of the actual experiment. And you also keep experiments isolated in their in their controlled environments until it's time to release them out and be mass marketed. Or reproduced, however the term is for the different parts of science. So you go to your little nook, and you crash, probably a little uncomfortably, like you have been for the past year.
Sleeping like this.
Honestly, I think any new mother can relate to that sleeping. New dads can relate to it too. Like, you're just, I'm a fucking sleep because I'm done. Like, the kid's asleep, I'm asleep, we're good. That's all that matters. Amalgamation.
Yeah.
Would you consider that you are at the point now where you would be having dreams, or do you even think that Amalgamation would even dream?
I think her dreams probably have more to do with like sensory memories of being a gelatinous cube, which I think is probably like horrific nightmares that are weirdly comforting to her. So like bodies like dissolving in her, like, things like that.
That's actually like, where I was going with that too. That's exactly what I was going with, was you experiencing one of those exact experiences as your dream to process your day's thoughts. Not a nightmare, just a dream of the past.
The equivalent of a toddler having a dream about eating cookies. It's like,
they're the same thing.
It's fine.
Crunchy.
Totally normal.
The fleshy bits dissolve nicely. The bones take a little longer.
Yeah, a little bit longer.
I love cookies.
You gotta get those. You gotta take those swords out, though.
Yeah, those magic weapons, those don't dissolve. It's unfortunate.
They're painful.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yep. On this particular night, you also do have a secondary part of the dream. And that is of being stuck in a force cage with a Medusan scientist standing outside of your cage, electrocuting you. It's very, very, very painful. It's your version of a nightmare, but you were experimented on before Matilda.
Oh, okay.
And those were your two dreams tonight.
I think then when she wakes up, she probably like wakes up in a jolt from like the nightmare portion of the dream. So the second half of it. And I think she like immediately like forms into her body that she's kind of been slowly taking on more and more each day. And this is probably like the quickest like she's ever solidified. And then whenever Matilda wakes up, Amalgamation is like hanging upside down on the ceiling. Just like swaying.
I love
like
it.
Dangling as like a goo chandelier in the middle of this room. Like
well, Matilda wakes up, looks up, jumps and screams, "Oh my gosh, what's happening? Are you okay?"
I feel like this is probably the first time she like expresses an emotion. So she like looks at Matilda and is just like, "I'm scared."
Oh no. What? Hold on. Huh. And then she holds her arms up for you to fall into her arms.
Like, you know, drop as like goo, and at first it's like you just got slimed on Nickelodeon.
She's like trying to like hold you.
And then it like and then I form like in front of you, like all the goo like slides off and
so are you the same height as me currently? Is that what we're resettled? Okay.
We're the same height.
So she's not gonna like get on a knee and look at you because we're the same height. So she's gonna look you in your beautiful yellow and pink swirly eyes, and just say, "What scared you? Do you remember?"
She would like turn into whatever she can remember about the other doctor.
And you see a Medusan scientist.
Would I have known them before?
You do recognize them,
Okay.
but we don't know right now whether or not that is dead or alive. The listeners will.
Interesting.
The listeners are going to know whether that character is dead or alive. However,
we don't.
It's been a while, and Revivify is a spell. Even if you killed them, they could be alive.
Okay.
But, like, you know they were taken care of. Like, arrested, killed, whatever. You know that they are not a threat to her.
Okay. I think Matilda would just sort of say, I haven't seen this person in a while, but you're completely safe with me. There's no need to be afraid. They're all gone, and no, we've got this. We've got all of this, and they can't hurt you now.
I think she like slowly turns back into her normal form, and then just like gives Matilda a hug.
She hugs you back, and it's sort of like almost hugging herself, going through your body.
Just hug and then squeezes
like slowly, like.
I feel like when Amalgamation is older, she's gonna be more like hugging like a water balloon, but at this point, it's like trying to hug slime.
Yeah.
It's just.
Yeah. So I think she would just say like, "Well, are you feeling okay?"
Uh-huh.
Okay. Matilda's like questioning, of course, why did I ask this? And it's like, we're gonna have a big day today. Somebody's coming to see all the wonderful things you can get up to, and I'm sure they're gonna be really impressed by how wonderful and amazing you are. So I'll get things ready, and you, go play.
So when you say other people are gonna be there, Amalgamation starts turning into other people she's seen and just pointing at herself and going, "This one?" And then turns into another person. "This one?"
No, you haven't seen them yet.
She just turns into a big question mark. just like
that is accurate.
Okay.
That's accurate. They don't look like this, but the fact that you're questioning it is a good thing. So I'll take care of this, and you can play as a question mark. Go do your thing.
Just jumping around as a question mark. Like the
Dun,
Pixar light, just like...
bouncy, bouncy, bounce.
And then I think I feel like she just learned punctuation, so now she like turns into like an exclamation mark and is bouncing around.
I think Matilda would take that as you being really happy playing and being an exclamation mark.
So you take the next half an hour, 45 minutes or whatever, and
checks out.
get this lab set up for your experiment. And then you know it's time to meet the dean.
Okay.
In your office, because it's a one-way mirror. You can see in, but Amalgamation cannot see out.
Okay. I think, let me know if this is okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the dean is here yet, but
Not yet.
Okay, so I think Matilda would feel more comfortable being in the room with Amalgamation, because I think there's been trust built.
Mm-hmm.
So I think most of the experiments that they would have done would have been face to face. However, what I think could happen here, if everyone's okay with this, is Matilda would want to speak to the dean. Let Amalgamation meet the dean, and then they go do their thing in the one-way mirrored area, just so there's less pressure, I think.
Okay. If you want her to meet him, that is perfectly fine. But he said he's going to meet you in your office, so you guys are going to have a quick exchange before he meets Amalgamation, so that you can give him a brief on whatever, like how to behave, how to whatever, because it's your experiment. If you want him in there, he's not going to say no, but he didn't want to contaminate it unintentionally.
Okay.
Because social experiments, you want to have as much control as possible. So he's being respectful. He is the dean of social science. So he is doing the thing.
Okay.
So you go into your office. He about 9:05 he shows up. He shows up late on purpose because he knows you're waiting for him.
Hate him already.
Uh-huh.
Looking at my spells. Just kidding.
Let me just pull out Tasha's caustic brew. Deal.
So you've seen him before. So his appearance doesn't throw you off, but he is about a 5 foot tall orc with both of his bottom tusks.
Wait, 5 foot?
5 foot. He's short.
He's short.
He's short for an orc.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Short king. Go off. Right, nice.
So he's a 5 foot tall orc. He might have other blood mixed in, but he is majority orc presenting. But he's got 2 large tusks adorned in silver. And you've seen it before, but he's very pale. He's that that gray green skin tone.
Okay.
And he walks in a full business suit, puts his hands behind his back, and says, "We ready to get started?"
Yes, Dean, welcome in. We've got everything prepared for you today. I can't wait for you to meet Amalgamation. They have been doing wonders, and I think you're going to be really impressed by everything we've been working on over the last year.
Of course. The time you were talking to him, he was actually looking at Amalgamation.
Okay.
And that's the project. That's your Amalgamation 19.
That's Amalgamation. And she's I'm pretty sure she's reached sentience, and she can understand feelings, and we're learning to have more conversations together. We're coming up with more of a routine day to day, and I think she's ready to start meeting new people and integrating into society as her own person. She will be there. I mean, she's still fairly young, but I believe we can get there fairly soon. Of course.
I would hope so. After 2 million gold has been spent on this, I would hope you're turning a profit.
Yes, well...
Or some kind of success. This has been expensive.
I would hope that you would find her a success, because she is by far better than anything I have achieved so far. Not that she is an achievement as an object, but
oh no, she absolutely is an achievement. Bipedal, you're already halfway there.
Yes, but I would like to stress, Dean, that she is becoming her own person. And, yes. And, I think you're going to be really impressed when you meet her.
If they look through the window right now, Amalgamation is now changing into different shapes from the Lisa Frank stickers on her bed. So she's like a goo unicorn, and then a goo tiger, and just like rolling around and then turning into different animals, and then rolling around and turning into a different animal.
Well, not always bipedal, apparently.
She's very talented. She could do basically anything. She could turn into anything, and I think that's one of the things that makes her unique, and I can only imagine what it would be like if...
Invaluable. Very
Yes.
useful.
Would Matilda
Alright.
pick up anything weird by how he feels or how he said that?
Roll an insight check.
Can I do a
Okay.
vibes check?
You can absolutely do an insight vibe check.
Okay, well,
vibes.
I got a 7.
7. This is
okay.
pretty par for course for him. He's been through the other 18 failures.
Mm-hmm.
He's become more and more about, can we succeed so that we can make some of the money back?
Yeah.
Because this is expensive. 2 million gold is not cheap. Like,
Okay. Okay.
the university does not operate off of bread and water.
Okay. Right. I think Matilda is sort of internally struggling between knowing what it's been like for him to just be like, let's get this done, and how she's grown to care a lot for Amalgamation. I think she's struggling by seeing the look on his face. So, well, would you like to meet her? She says calmly.
Is that part of the demonstration today?
I do feel, though, as if you meet her, you will understand her a bit more, and
Okay.
again, we want her to integrate into society, and meeting new people would be a part of that. So if you would
If-
like to participate,
If it would be valuable and help determine success or failure of the project, absolutely.
okay.
Lead the way.
And she takes him into the room.
Okay.
Neat.
And he follows right behind you. So, as they enter, Matilda enters, and you don't see anybody else behind her.
I don't?
Nope, not at first.
Interesting, okay.
He's right
then-
behind her. He's 5 foot. She's 5'3".
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
We're dealing
okay.
with a short guy.
Disappear.
And if I don't see him, I'm gonna like turn back into Amalgamation and go over to Matilda and be like, when does the new person get here?
Oh, Amalgamation, he's here. And she steps to the side, I guess.
Just the reveal.
Yeah.
And you see the dean. You see the dean. Dean Wellers.
I turn into a goo version of the dean.
Okay.
Spectacular.
What is your spell save DC real quick?
Oh, 1 second. My
What is his spell save DC? Real quick.
Is 13?
13? Okay. He maintains composure, but you do see a little chuckle. Interesting response.
I think because I don't think she's ever turned into somebody with tusks before, so she like jiggles like her lower jaw like a little too much, and you see that like the tusks like wiggle like jello.
Yeah. I, Eric, am laughing. Dean Wellers is still fairly stoic, but he is cracking that little bit of smile you used to see in the early days, Dr. Matilda.
Okay. So she would see that as a good thing. assuming.
It's not a bad thing.
Okay. Yes. So Amalgamation can turn really into anything, and she often does this when she is really interested. So she seems to be really interested in you, Dean Wellers.
Of course.
Dean Wellers. And then she looks over at Matilda. Is that a good name?
We can work.
He looks at you too.
We can workshop it. However, that is his name. If you want to be called that, we can look at a list of names. I could go on the internet, and we could look at them and look at their meanings, if that matters to any of us. But if we could put it on the list of possible names.
Okay. She's gonna like stand in front of the dean, and he is going to watch a goo version of himself slowly melt into a puddle.
Okay.
Can they not? Can it not keep form?
Oh, yeah, she can keep form.
the puddle's gonna like slide like under his feet and then like start going up the wall a little bit. And then she's gonna go back to where she was when Matilda woke up, where she's just hanging upside down from the ceiling. But now she's a Dean Wellers hanging upside down on the ceiling. Like slowly stretching until he's like taller.
Is this
Interesting.
because she's scared, or is it because she just felt like it?
She just felt like it.
Okay.
I think she met the new person. She learned a name. The name isn't a good name for her. She's like, okay, this is all I needed. This is like the interaction that I needed from this dude.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, she does this sometimes. It's one of the ways she likes to play.
Well, I will step off to the side. We have been introduced. Continue on with the experimentation and showing that sentience has been achieved.
Okay. Amalgamation, would you mind coming back down? I would like to show the Dean our daily routine, but we'll do it in a short amount of time so he's not here from morning to night. So if you would like to come down.
Yeah, you see that she stretches all the way to the ground, and then the part of her that was on the ceiling then stretches back down. So like a slinky, like a goose slinky. And then she's standing in front of you. And it's like, okay.
Okay. So what do we do when we wake up in the morning?
You see her like turn into you with like a goo version of a toothbrush, and then goes to brush her teeth as you in a goo form.
You have seen me do this.
Matilda remembers that that Amalgamation has definitely been in the other room while Matilda was brushing her teeth in the sink.
Yes, but when I take the blanket off you in the morning and I wake you up, what is the first thing that Amalgamation does?
She turns back into her regular form.
Yes. And when we have breakfast together, what is it that you normally want?
Cereal?
Yes. And where do we get the cereal?
The fridge.
Above the fridge. Yes, yes. We're still learning words, but in a cabinet. In a cabinet. The milk is in the fridge. The cereals.
He's over there with a clipboard and just taking notes.
I'm having like PTSD of watching my kid test for pre-K right now. I'm like doing it to you though.
So we essentially go through that whole, you ask a bunch of questions, she answers them with improper speech, but effective enough communication to prove communication. And so he's seeing that she's maintained form this whole time. He's seeing that she has expressed inquisition about identity, and has written a bunch of notes. And he comes over and says, "It appears the experimentation was." I rolled a 19, by the way. Which is
what does
perfect.
That mean?
I know,
No,
What does that mean?
What? No, hang on. What I'm saying.
Amalgamation 19.
Yes, that.
That's nice.
Oh,
So that's really a crit in this scenario.
That's really a crit in this scenario,
That's
right?
Really, he loves me.
He looks at you, Doc, and says, "It appears you have, at the very least, met current expectations. Speech is a thing. Congratulations. I'm very glad I can speak."
I can speak. You hear in like the
Yes.
background.
She can speak. Yes.
She.
Yes. She.
Writes on the paper, writes on his clipboard. She. Very good. So she can speak. She can maintain form for at least the amount of time that this took. Changing forms, very interesting. Looks at amalgamation. Very interesting. Keep practicing.
There's like a bubble that comes out and just says, okay.
However, continued funding will be permitted.
Oh. Well, that's wonderful news, Dean.
Outside of the lab. In society.
What?
You are moving on to your next phase.
Well, what about? What does this mean for amalgamation?
Amalgamation will be put into society, and will learn from Tau Leva at large that the way Tau Leva works, the way the city works.
But she's not old enough to be on her own.
She's demonstrated at least age 5. We will put her in a good school, and she will stay there, and it'll be a good school for her.
Dean, with all respect.
With
Dean,
other children.
Dean, with all due respect, Dean, how many 5-year-olds do you know on their own in this world?
All of the ones at the boarding school. And all of the boarding houses.
Is there anything in this room that, because I assume like her bed and stuff would be like specifically made substances for her not to be able to melt it. Is there anything in this room that acid would work on?
I'm sure there
Dean.
is.
I'm just kidding.
Yes, the dean, but yes, there is a something. Just
Okay, let's assume there's
Like a
like some
podium.
kind of doll or something.
Yeah.
That I've been given.
there you go.
And as he's talking about amalgamation going to a school with literal children, you see amalgamation like playing with the doll, and then she puts the doll inside her body, and then it starts to disintegrate.
Dean, I don't know if she's ready. As you can see, if she were playing on the playground with other children, she might absorb the swing set.
There's
And
no more doll
possibly
in
worse.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, possibly
The
worse.
doll's gone.
Doll's gone.
I need to help her learn and create the proper setting for her to live in, and that way, different outfits, armor, space to live that she can thrive and potentially not hurt other children until she's able to understand what to do and what not to do.
Good news is the school year starts in 3 more months.
Dean,
He honestly thinks that he's honestly like that's enough time.
It's fine.
Dean, I would say she is not going to be there in 3 months. I am excited for new projects. However, I do not think that 3 months will be enough time to integrate her. It's taken a year for her to be about at the mental state of a 5-year-old, stage of a 5-year-old. So
Yes.
if we do the maths, sir,
She
3
should
months.
excel.
She may, but we can't predict the future. But we can with algorithms. However, in society, you can't exactly do that. So I
That
don't
is
know.
why it is a school with other children and not true society yet.
It's chill.
You have been unharmed, and I presume contact has been made between you and her.
Yes, we say goodnight, and I read her a bedtime story. We say goodnight and give a hug, and it's fine. However, that is our routine. It's our routine, and I would be happy to take her into my home to continue to help her grow outside of funding if she's not put into a boarding school where she could potentially hurt herself and others, or harm could be done to her.
We'll transfer you to the boarding school.
What would I do at the boarding school, Dean Wellers?
Continue teaching her. Private tutorship.
Does Matilda look frustrated or upset right now?
Sounds like confused.
Yeah, confused. She sounds confused by what the hell is she gonna do at a boarding school.
Sure.
He's saying your time in the lab with her is basically up in 3 months.
Yeah, and Matilda is saying let her come to my house so she can live with me and I can help her grow, basically adopting her.
Uh-huh. And he's saying just move into the boarding school too, you'll be fine.
I would be happy to stay in my home with Amalgamation, and I could homeschool her. Many women in science are also single mothers. I can do it all.
You know what that would mean for your post.
No,
You would not have it.
but I could teach her and still have my job.
Not the current one with your current salary.
That doesn't matter to me. I mean, I'm happy to be working here at the university, but I can't just abandon something that I care about.
Amalgamation is now standing over, like, between you two. Oh, look, there's, like, visual representation. So Amalgamation is, like, standing between you two now, like, just, like, watching you talk, like, back and forth. Because I feel like she's never seen, like, this heated of a conversation before. You don't live here?
No.
Not you.
I live here sometimes. Sometimes when we say goodnight, I go to my other home. This is a temporary situation. And I would love for you to come with me if you want to.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, that was me more than Matilda.
Okay, Dean, if Amalgamation wants to come with me, she can. I would be happy to continue research, but I don't know if you will find someone else who will have had a success as I have. So,
This would be the one success, and funding would not be continuing on the project.
like I said, I'm happy to move on to another project, and I'm happy to take Amalgamation home with me. And I am not going to abandon what I don't perceive as a project.
That, unfortunately, you are temporarily relieved of all duties and assignments. We will reach out when we have something new that fits, if we do.
If I have been the one person to have a success in this field, you are willing to let me go because I don't want to give up Amalgamation. Malgi.
I like that.
And
The
work on
social
another
sciences,
project.
the social sciences require that we do not get ingratiated with our subjects. You have done so. It is a breach of ethics within the field. You need to take your time and come back slowly, which is why you will not be continuing this project. This project will be shelved and abandoned, and she will be its only success.
You're right, I will take my time slowly.
And I think she's going to, can I
She's quitting her job for your amalgamation.
Aw.
Can I?
I need to know the second Matilda looks upset. Because I don't think I've ever seen her upset. Right?
No, I don't think so. I think if
Okay.
anything, it would have been caring. There might have been some frustration, like I guess any parent would have trying
Sure.
to teach their children.
Yeah.
I don't think you would have seen her upset about potentially losing her life's work because she does not agree with how, with how the dean thinks.
The second Amalgamation sees like Matilda getting upset, I'm gonna use message on the dean,
Oh.
Ooh.
and I'm
Okay.
just gonna say, "You're being mean. Be nicer."
He recognizes the voice because you've spoken to him
Mhm.
for a moment, and he's heard you for the last little bit. Looks at you. Magic aptitude. Looks back at Matilda and says, "Magical aptitude."
I don't think Matilda would know that because I don't
Mm-mm.
think Amalgamation's used it yet.
I don't know about that.
It has magical aptitude. She has magical aptitude. I just received a message spell in my head.
So because he's like raising his voice, which does not sound nicer,
It doesn't. It's not at all.
Amalgamation's gonna use Mind Sliver, and
Okay.
he's gonna hear like, "That's not nicer," in his head.
What does Mind Sliver do for us?
He has to make a DC 13, but let me see what the actual thing is. Hold on.
Oh my god.
Attacking the dean.
It's only a cantrip. It's only
If
a
you
cantrip.
weren't
It's
quitting
fine.
before,
It's fine. Intelligence saving throw.
okay.
He has to get at least a 13 because she's a little baby. So
Okay. Double checking his stats.
is he dumb? Is there any
Uh-uh.
chance the dean's dumb?
No.
Roll
I
bad.
No.
said no.
Roll bad.
Roll bad. Oh shit.
What?
That's a nat 20.
Fuck.
That is not
that
bad.
Was, that was worse. That was the
That
worst you
is
could
not
possibly
bad.
do.
So
Oh,
yeah,
crap.
no. He knows that it happened. He feels
Okay.
this. You see
He doesn't
him
take
go
any
up
damage from it.
with a slight head, like he's rubbing his temple from a headache. You-
Also, on the outside, Amalgamations just looks happy and smiling, and there's like no change. This is all just happening in this dude's head.
He looks right at Matilda. Change of plans.
What do you mean?
And that is where we're ending the session.
Oh shit. Okay.
What?